The global economy has recovered from the COVID pandemic and is expected to grow at about 3% this year. Meanwhile, Saint Lucia has outperformed the global economy and many of its regional counterparts, with growth expected to surpass 7% this year and projected growth for the next 2 years at a conservative 4%. With that in mind, the government and the central bank are asking themselves, what will it take for Saint Lucia to double the size of the economy in the next decade?
What will it take to double the size of Saint Lucia's economy over the next 10 years? The economy now is around 5.7 billion. How do we get to 11.5, 12 billion over the next decade? And what we've made clear is that we have to do quite a few things. But the fundamental ingredients will be courage. If you say bold, you have to have courage. Courage, execution, and speed.
The formula for success is simple, but it is not so easy as it sounds. The region is in the midst of an epidemic of violence. Saint Lucia needs to improve the skills of its people to satisfy the demands of such aggressive growth. And of course, for almost half of each year, everything is at risk of being destroyed by increasingly powerful storms and hurricanes.
For us to achieve the big push for Saint Lucia, several actions are required together. Crime reduction, human capital formation, digital transformation, financial sector development, fiscal adjustment, and climate resilience. We've identified several key areas that will help with these reforms, including lowering crime, lowering NPLs, boosting human capital development. If we do those things, we could add another 2%. If we do digital transformation, we could add another third, so there are another 1%, so we can get another 3, 4 and 3, 7. Because essentially, to grow the economy and to double it in 10 years, you have to grow at 7% every year for the next 10 years. If you compound, you get a doubling after 10 years. So that's the challenge. Now that's not easy because while you're doing that, we're dealing with shocks, natural disasters, the ups and downs of the economic cycle, global developments of which we have no control.
One of the main parameters that many Caribbean nations have repeatedly failed on is a solid debt to GDP ratio.
The target in the currency union set by the Monetary Council is 60%. This is the red bar that you see here. Before the pandemic, we were at 66.1%. Pandemic, we got up to 88%. It's 2020, end of 2020. And as growth resumed, you can see the debt to GDP ratio is falling. It's now at 76.1%. And the target is to get to 60% on or before 2035.
The central bank governor underlined the obstacles and difficulties Saint Lucia could face on the road to doubling its economic output.
There are several challenges facing our region that include climate, geopolitics, crime, debt, and human capacity, all of which have to be addressed to give us the best chance of realizing our big push ambition to double the size of the Saint Lucian economy.
Saint Lucia's government and civil society stakeholders already seem to be grappling with the epidemic of violence in earnest. The new police commissioner has delivered his action plan to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister himself has said that one of his biggest fears is having all progress wiped out by a storm powered by global warming, indicating an urgent interest in doing what it takes to beat back climate change. With all of these factors in play, it will be difficult to achieve the goal of doubling the size of the economy. But even though Saint Lucia doesn't hit the target, striving for success could transform the island and change everything forever. For Choice News Now, I'm Jason Seaflay.